I think we can just sort of begin, I suppose. We're already sort of in conversation. I did want to ask about Terence Tao.
Oh, yeah,
Because
okay.
he came out recently he did a video with OpenAI, and that was following some of the comments he made on AI somewhere on the internet. He was very positive in his view of AI. I was saying that this was something along the lines of this is going to change the game. And I think what happened was he was running a proof for a conjecture, and there was some error that he made. I'm not sure either semantically or otherwise, and that it was ChatGPT which had pointed that error out to him, and that blew his mind. And I wonder if you think that if it had not been Terence Tao saying that, and instead a postdoc somewhere, would that statement have as much weight to it?
No, it wouldn't. If it's some random postdoc that we expect your average random postdoc to make loads of mistakes, because we all do. We should also expect that Terry Tao makes a lot of mistakes, just because we all do.
Yes.
The thing about Tao is, of course, the amount that he knows is, dwarfs most other people, and the breadth of it, and the quality and amount of the ideas that he has dwarfs most people's.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop him from making mistakes. And my postdoc did find some errors in his code that he had written in order to get explicit bounds on the where you know that the Riemann hypothesis is true. Yeah. So I guess areas of the complex plane where it's known to be true, I think. But having identified these errors, Cushing actually was. They didn't make. It turned out that it didn't affect Terry Tao's result, but you could actually do quite a lot better. So if you go to Terry Tao's website, he has actually credited Cushing as with the best known bounds for the Riemann zeta function, the zeros.
Do you agree with his take on AI? Are you as optimistic as he is?
One thing that's true is, I think big names like Tao and Gowers is another one, if you're interested in pursuing that line of questioning. Those big names get given access to the super duper kind of ChatGPT version, which I think it's extremely expensive, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but it might be of the order of thousands a month or something. Probably. So they get to do that, and it probably the amount of computing power that goes into like a second of it thinking is significantly more. So bearing that in mind, that's not going to be in the it's not going to be available to most people. We have to take it with a pinch of salt. And if it is the case, as people argue very convincingly, that AI is just fundamentally not sustainable in the current trajectory.
Environmentally sustainable? Or?
Certainly environmentally sustainable, financially sustainable. If you look at what Ed Zitron writes on Blue Sky, and he links to various articles, so it's Zitron. He's gone into great detail on the way in which AI is a bubble. So
Okay.
So there was a famous company in the 80s or 90s, maybe 90s, called Enron, and it manufactured enormous amounts of money by setting up a sort of chain of companies that would all lend money to each other, and it would just kind of grow and grow and grow. And but of course, all these companies were, it needed feeding the debt that they owed to the other ones with this ever growing kind of debt repayments. A similar thing, Zitron argues, is going on with AI companies. And that eventually this bubble has to burst.
Right.
And when it does, maybe there will simply be no companies to supply the AI.
So your objection is not, you don't object to it at a capability point of view. You're not one of those people who says, it doesn't think, it's just replicating what's already out there, it's bad for learning.
I used to think that. Yeah. I was convinced that was wrong by having read Gower's blog about this.
Yeah.
So Tim Gowers is another Fields medalist, but based in Cambridge, and he picked a problem that he thought, this is hard. It's the sort of thing that you would give a PhD student. And you'd expect them to take 3 years over it, but it's not like completely out of the question to make progress on it. And he got in contact with the guy who wrote the article and just got that guy to give him the prompts to ChatGPT. Within an hour of thinking, it had reduced exponential bounds down to polynomial bounds, which so an enormous improvement, and it was in the view of the guy who had written a paper, it did so by having a really good idea, one that he said he would have been pleased to have come up with after having thought about it for a week. So with that kind of endorsement, I have to accept that it has huge capabilities. But again, this is the top end version of it. I don't know what my experiments with Claude, and its ability to understand mathematics, they have not been promising. It didn't seem to know about loads of things. It told me the completely false analyses of the kind of approach that we took in our paper and other people took in their paper. It didn't understand anything at all well, and it made I asked it to just kind of, we know this thing, a certain thing up to dimension 9. So I said to it, have a go at dimension 10 using the same methods. Because I thought, well, there'll be this huge number of extra calculations to do, but it is an AI, so hopefully it could do. It didn't, it couldn't, it couldn't even get started. So I was not very hopeful there. But this is going to sound extremely seedy now, but I promise it's not as bad as it sounds. I had asked it for the best massage parlour in Newcastle upon Tyne.
Right.
So I was going there with a female friend to have a joint massage before dinner.
Right.
Anyway, we needed to relax. because we're academics, and obviously it's awful. So anyway, but I was very explicit, Newcastle upon Tyne, because there is obviously a Newcastle under Lyme and a Newcastle Australia. And I think there's one in the States. So I was very clear that it needed to be there. Its top recommendation was in Newcastle under Lyme. At which point I got very angry with it and said, why am I paying you all this money if you can't even follow the basic instructions, which I've been very clear with you about, and it's very obsequious. So apologised profusely.
Yeah.
They're very good at apologising, model apologising, but it's not very useful in my experience.
Well, Richard Dawkins came out recently, and he said that Claude was conscious, and he got a lot of...
But is Richard Dawkins conscious?
He would probably argue that he is conscious.
Yeah.
Because he would probably reduce it down to something very materialistic, as opposed to some kind of metaphysical claim.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think if you're looking for introspection or obsession with the self, then Richard Dawkins is definitely your man. I knew him. Well, I mean, I met him at a couple of dinners in New College, where because he'd been the professor for the Public Understanding of Science, or PUS.
Yeah.
They realised that was not a great acronym.
Yeah.
So when Marcus de Soto took it over, it became the Professor of Science for the Public Understanding, or SPEW.
Yeah.
Which slightly better. But anyway, Richard Dawkins was PUS, and so he would turn up at dinner sometime. And he brought his wife along, Lala Ward, that men of a certain generation remember very fondly. I think she was Tom Baker as Doctor Who. She was the assistant or whatever, because they always pick up these familiars, don't they? She garnered a lot of attention from people for her looks. But anyway, she's still very glamorous, and was very good company at this dinner as well. But Richard Dawkins seemed to be put out by interest being shown in her rather than in him. Yeah.
Do you think Terence Tao might have I suppose not Nobel syndrome, but maybe Fields Medal syndrome?
What is that?
So Nobel syndrome is this phenomena where sort of Nobel Prize winners will, after winning the prize, might go down a kind of but they might start to embrace kind of novel or maybe pseudoscientific ideas. They sort of their understanding of wherever their field was doesn't translate as well to something else.
I see. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I haven't followed what Tao's done very closely. I think it's very unlikely that you would get that same behaviour, because I think underlying maths, I suppose the question is, underlying maths, there is a kind of common methodical thing matched with sort of leaps of conjectures that just from you get a sense of the way that the machine is behaving, and then you want to try and turn that into a reality. And so there's this kind of this guesswork and this like plodding methodical thing, and that's going to be extremely portable. But AI is a kind of different matter. If it found an error in its proof, it found an error in its proof.
Yeah.
But proof checking has been going on for a very long time. I think it must be like 15 years old, I guess, where I proved this famous theorem in group theory called the odd order theorem. So I guess we can talk about maths very briefly. A group is a collection of symmetries. So it's probably easier to start with an example. If you take a square and you think about the rotational symmetries, you can leave the square alone, or you can turn it 90 degrees clockwise or anti-clockwise. Perhaps we should go anti-clockwise, but anyway, 90 degrees, 180, 270, and then you're back to where you started again. So you get 4 rotational symmetries. You can also flip the square over, and then you can do the rotations on the other side. So you get in total 8 symmetries. It's a group, a finite group called D8.
Okay.
And there are 8 in it, so that's an even number. But you can have groups of any order you like. If that order is an odd number, then the group is what's called solvable, and that means it breaks up into very, very simple pieces of just like of basically things that look like rotations. So it's a very simple theorem to state. It is an extremely difficult theorem to prove, but one of the earlier achievements of proof-checking software. Mostly Lean is the one that people talk about. You might come across it, but it does formal kind of semantic developments of statements in maths until it gets from point A to point B. But where you kind of have to tell it lots of points along the way, so it can kind of get between. But so Lean checked that theorem, and so I it's not clear that you would need to use ChatGPT to find the mistake, because you could have used this other method. But I think setting that up is quite tiring stuff. But they are talking to each other, like Lean and ChatGPT. So Terry Tao might be surprised. I guess I'm not.
What's the mood sort of amongst maths departments?
I think we were all extremely shocked by the Gowers blog.
Right.
That's worth having a look, because I think we were highly unconvinced that it would ever get to a stage of development that it could have what somebody like a proper mathematician would describe as a good idea.
Yeah. So
to discover that it could, I think, is really surprising. I think people are in part terrified. I think they are also thinking, well, if that's where we're at, I better get on this. I better jump on this bandwagon. And the benefits, well, could be enormous, because if all you got to do is have the great idea and you don't have to do any of the donkey work, and I can only speak from my own experience, but I guess probably if I have 20 ideas, one of them might be viable, but showing that the 19 other ones go to dead ends, that takes a lot of work, and so you get this. You get these sort of lovely papers at the end of it that just that contain the path that worked, but it hides away all of the misery that you went through in order to find the correct path.
Do you think that misery has a kind of importance, maybe metaphysically, or?
Not metaphysically. It probably has an importance in terms of teaching you the general type of thing that doesn't work, and so I had a professor at undergrad had this great phrase that always stuck with me, which is you never, if you're working on something in maths, you never get nowhere. So even if you just find yourself going down dead ends, you understand those dead ends so much better, and you like the general feel of the subject, what's true and so on. So it definitely has that value. Without doing that hard work, you might struggle to have the good idea because you just don't really understand the problem well enough. I mean, if I tried to solve the Riemann hypothesis using ChatGPT, I wouldn't even have the faintest idea what to tell it to try.
Yeah.
So you've got to get in there before you can be useful to the AI.
Yeah.
But it seems very likely to me that whatever it is that goes on in our heads that makes us like jump to a conclusion, and that's quite often it's right. I'm not sure how that. So intuition, I suppose, is the word. I'm not sure how you communicate intuition to an AI. I'm not saying it's impossible. I also don't know how you get it to appreciate what is a really attractive problem. So something that would be worth working on and would be worth screaming about, because it can generate material until the cows come home, but like what is good and what is not is I don't think something that it's learned yet,
because there is an aesthetic element to mathematics in the same way. Most of the consensus is that AI can't create art, it can't create music, it can't create good literature, it can't do things that use whatever the aesthetic impulse in humans is. Mathematics seems to arise from the aesthetic impulse, and I don't know if this is a pessimistic way of thinking, but the examples that you've described of Gao and Tao, these guys are obviously veteran mathematicians. If you kind of, like, let's just say everyone started, just using AI all the time in mathematics, is there a risk that in 10 years down the line, people's skills have atrophied to the point where they don't even know what to ask it anymore?
Yes. Well, I think I totally agree with that. I mean, I think that's what I said in terms of what you would need to do yourself in order to be useful to the AI.
Mm-hmm.
How, given that there's like a physical reaction to being like overawed by some aspect of beauty, like that might cause you to, I must paint this, or I must take a photograph of this, or I must write something about like this situation, or or also kind of pain that you want to document that in some way. given that those have physical qualities which the AI will not experience, there does seem to be something that it will never be able to do. So I think there is an argument that it may never be able to appreciate what is a really great result, or a really great scene. And if all it's doing is basing it on the things that it's already seen, then it may forever overlook things that aren't like what it's seen.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we're looking at the technology that people like Tao or really any sort of senior mathematician is using, the models they're using aren't the ones that are generally accessible to the average person. And I did want to ask about kind of the average undergraduate now, because it seems that it's like I've been working through the Liebeck's book on pure mathematics.
Oh right, yeah, my supervisor.
Yeah.
My PhD supervisor.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that book's great.
It's very. He is a great, very accessible writer, and it's because it's chatty but it is to the point.
It's one of those things where when you're presented with some kind of problem, I mean, James Maynard describes it as sort of being in a dark room, completely pitch black, and your one objective is to find the light switch.
Yeah.
And it could be anywhere. And so you've got some problem, you just start plugging numbers in, or you do some operation, it doesn't work, and you do that multiple times, and eventually you find the light switch, and then the rest of the problem's pretty trivial.
Yeah, that is a very good description.
And I wonder because it is the case a lot of undergrads are using the kind of normal AIs, and even though pretty much everywhere it's not allowed, it's still something that's going on, and I wonder what you think the implication of that's going to be down the line. So
we have a kind of there's a kind of conflict which AI is interfering with. The conflict from the point of like a teacher and a student is that we need to be able to torture the students with things that they find difficult or don't understand, because when they try sufficiently hard at the thing that they don't understand, they'll eventually break through, and then they'll understand things. And if you don't go through that pain, then you won't gain the understanding of the.
You won't learn how to learn.
Yeah. And so if AI just short circuits that, which it is doing, then we're going to end up with people that cannot think coming out the other end of a degree. I mean, you can see how this could be there could be a kind of contradiction that builds up here, that the only way that you can make the AI in the first place is with maths. I mean, it's
mostly like linear algebra.
Feeding kind of a set of hyperplanes into a small survivor to create a neural network. If you don't know your linear algebra, I think you wouldn't be able to build an AI, and so you would end up at a point at which the only thing that would understand AIs would be the AIs themselves.
So it feels like
seems to be. There was an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation about this exact thing. The artificial intelligence had developed to the point that this humanoid species could perfectly protect itself. It cloaked the entire planet. Inside the planet, every wish was taken care of. They live more or less indefinitely, but they eventually got really bored because there was nothing. There was no new. There was nothing new in their lives, so they would abduct children from like passing spacecraft. So then the Enterprise lost all of its kids all of a sudden, so it had to go and get them again. But it was possible, despite this extremely highly developed artificial intelligence, because the people it was serving didn't know how to fix it anymore. They didn't understand anything about it because they didn't need to. You can imagine it ending up in a sort of analogous situation like that eventually the AI breaks for some reason and no one knows how to fix it because there's but I mean, it's difficult to extrapolate into the future like that. But anyway, the point is that I agree that there is a serious issue there, and practically, I think what we are having to think about is how to get more assessment into a kind of lecture situation, so that people can go through that painful stuff, like when they don't have access to AI. Although that's now, of course, getting very difficult because there's all the wearable tech, and so we've got to now start thinking about how do we detect the wearable tech or set up some kind of Wi-Fi blocker, or that's the sort of where this conversation is going at the moment. So you might want to speak to Bijan Parsia, who's in the computer science department, Bijan. He has been thinking very...
What's his surname, sorry?
Parsia, Parsia. He has been thinking very hard about this problem. I guess it's even more pressing because it's computer science. AI is extremely good at coding. I think no one can doubt that. Yeah. So if you want people coming out with a computer science degree, if you want that to mean that they know how to code some stuff, then without using AI, that's an even more kind of pressing issue. So he's been thinking quite hard about that. So you might talk to him about it.
Yeah, well, when I spoke to Anna Skive, she because she sort of works in the AI and astrophysics intersection. Yeah. And we did talk about programming for some time, and we had this both agreement. I mean, I've been writing code since I was in year 7, and when I look at what a lot of the models can do now, it is... I couldn't have imagined that would have been the case when I started programming, that there was going to be something that you could type into. You could make a website, and it would produce all the JavaScript you need, all the backend would be done for you. Yeah. But it is also the case that I can only really do those things because I already know how to code. And so it feels like both in programming and in mathematics is that as an undergrad, it's worth going through that initial struggle that everyone goes through, and then gradually learning to effectively earn using the technology.
Yeah.
And then not using the stuff that's the consumer stuff, but using the really specialized professional software that you're going to be at whichever either research department or industry position you're going to be in.
I mean, I don't know how many departments could afford like top-end ChatGPT.
Yeah,
because I mean, it will charge by the minute, for its thinking time, and you'd have to ration that very carefully because you could end up racking up most absolutely.
It is 10 past 12, I should say. Mm-hmm. It is 10 past 12.
Oh, is it? I don't know. Let me have a look to see if I am needed somewhere else. I don't think I am, but no, we can go a bit longer if you want, or
that's right.
We can stop.
That's good. We can keep going.
I think that is the conclusion I came to as well. Yeah. That only at the very end of a degree should you maybe be able to use the AI. Yeah. Ideally, I mean, of course, policing that is going to be very difficult. I certainly don't agree with the university's decision to force what's the Microsoft thing? Copilot. To force Copilot and everyone, to the point that it like clutters up the top of every Word document now.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether this was part of the agreement with Microsoft, with a conspiracy theory hat on. There is if thinking about the sustainability of AI, it would seem to me that for this to keep going, the companies like Microsoft desperately need people addicted to AI. Okay. Right, because they need to get the money out of them to be able to pay for it. Mm-hmm. So I can see why then there might be an incentive for Microsoft to, as part of its deal, insist that the organizational policy is that you can't turn it off.
Okay.
Which is currently the situation. So you can't. There is no setting, because IT haven't turned it on. Right. There is no setting to turn off Copilot completely. I've turned it off everywhere I can. It really annoys me, and particularly when it comes to writing. I don't think that there is anything that I have seen the AI produce that I would want to produce. It tends to make very bland, harmonious, superficially harmonious sounding, sentences, mm-hmm. usually with words that are too long and too many of them, and it won't get to the point. Mm-hmm. So the writing just kind of has no edge to it. I almost wonder, though, one thing positive thing that could come out of this is that we realise quite how much filler and waffle we put around what we say. So a really classic one is reference letters. For the vast majority of people, you haven't worked with them very closely. You might know, 3 bullet points about them, but rather than write just here are the 3 bullet points I know about this person, that they have always turned up to their academic advising sessions. They are on some I don't know, netball team or something, and whatever it is, rather than just give those 3 bullet points, which somebody might actually then read because it's only 3 bullet points, we generate this sort of 2-page document with just which fleshes out these bullet points into stuff that is almost unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Just to get, because we think that we need to have a certain amount of text, and then this goes to somebody who says, "Oh God, that's a lot of text," and I've got 1,000 other ones like this. I'll just give it to the AI to sift through to say which ones it thinks I should remove. I mean, it's like, why? One thing it might teach us is brevity is actually a good thing, and then we might not need all of the surrounding nonsense.
Well, Sam Harris came under quite a bit of fire recently in the US.
Is that the guy that set up? Is he a co-founder of OpenAI, or am I?
No. He was one of the new atheist kind of horsemen. So he was in kind of Dawkins, Hitchens group, and he sort of came out by saying that if it's the case that AI can write the best books, then that's something that he'd want. And he said something like, if you give some sort of model, with a bunch of historical documents and say, write a book on some topic in history, and be very critical, that he would be happy to read that. If it's not the case that he thinks that the kind of writing that AI produces is just not as good as anything human writes. It's just merely about the content within it.
It could be true that it has the right framework to be able to put the only kind of sensible interpretation to glue together some historical documents into a narrative. More than likely, there will be human beings behind these documents somewhere, and they have motivations, and I would think that you need to get to those motivations. The AI might be able to take a guess at it. I think it would probably need a lot of prompting, and there could be more than one way to skin the cat. And there might be things that the AI hasn't not thought of because of all of the other examples of this kind of analysis that it's seen. They haven't been exactly like this one, and so it's kind of forcing the wrong framework onto the. So it's possible that in some circumstances the AI could write as good a book as anyone else, but I think this is something we can test, right? I mean, just get some historical documents, get it to write a book, and then get a human being to do the same thing, and then get Terry Eagleton to write it or something. If you want a really kind of unusual take on it, do that, and then see what they come up with, and then I think I know who's going to win that fight, but yeah, it would be a good experiment.
Well, to talk about undergraduates again, obviously you taught all of us in the start of the year.
Yeah, 450.
Yeah.
It's 500 next year, apparently.
Oh, wow. Many of them will be watching this. And
I love you all. It's too many.
We've got 3. Yeah. You've got 3 more years, and I wanted to ask how, there is this confusion, I think, with AI and academia, and particularly in the STEM fields. And I wonder what your advice would be to try and survive amongst that confusion.
Well, I think treating it with which I think people of your generation are actually doing more than people of my generation, treating it with like great suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
The sort of the revulsion towards AI slop,
Yeah.
I think, is much stronger in your generation than mine.
Mm-hmm.
So I would hold on to that. I think maybe I wonder if we don't quite set the right tone in the way that we approach kind of trying to convince students to like do some work, that it tends to be all stick and no carrot. The carrot fundamentally needs to come from yourself. You have to want to get better at things. I would say be ambitious about your own development. And as you do that, you'll probably find, if you want to use it, that you get better and better at using the AI because you're better yourself at like understanding.
Yeah.
So you should certainly like don't expect it to do everything for you. Be quite suspicious of it. If you must work with it, you need to treat it as a partnership where you're both developing at the same time. That might be a good strategy.
Yeah. Well, I did want to also ask, because we spoke about that sort of the light switch kind of analogy. Yeah. And I think with a lot of maths and physics degrees, and I'm sure with others, there is a great deal of imposter syndrome, especially when, there's people that maybe were pretty good at mathematics when they were at school, good enough to get into whatever position they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Then a lot of people, I've seen that there is the imposter syndrome that comes from kind of, okay, well, now you're amongst, 400, 500 people, and maybe you were good, but then you're around people that are great, and there is that imposter syndrome. And I wonder if that's something that you know how to mitigate in some way.
I think this is one thing that's helpful is almost everybody is in the position where they can see someone else not far away from them who is so much better than they can ever dream to be, or that this is how it appears. And I mean, largely speaking, you're not wrong about that. If you think so, the way I would kind of model like mathematical ability, it's sort of a graph that is very, I think it's positively skewed. So that means it has a great big mass, like early on. So there are some people that are really what's called dyscalculic, like they can't do any calculations or anything at all. But there are very few people like that. Most people can like add up a £1.30 and £2.94 or whatever. But then people do tend to struggle when it gets to algebra, and like for a lot of people that is where they draw the line.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of, you get most people just kind of at the point of just before algebra, being able to do basic stuff with that. But from that point on, the number of people like versus like mathematical ability, it goes really flat and goes on into like the distance that you can't, forever. Mm-hmm. So, and Terry Tao is, at the end of that somewhere. But I wouldn't even for him, he might have somebody that he thinks is much better than him. I don't know. Be interesting to ask him. But like almost all of us, like 99% of us, are a long way away from Terry Tao.
Yeah.
So if you are feeling out of your depth, then join the club.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's interesting because I feel like that's maybe a lot of the reason that people in sort of maths and physics end up not doing it not in research. They typically end up in a bank or something. Obviously, the one argument is that they get paid substantially more, which I think is fair enough. But I think a lot of it is also just the fact that, especially with sort of pure mathematics, is that there is a paradox on one hand that you are doing something quite abstract. You might think you're just sort of doing, grinding away at problems and these conjectures that you just don't know. You can't possibly know the significance of a lot of these things down the line. I mean, there's no reason that. I mean, obviously for a long time, people that would say things like, there's no point researching number theory.
Yeah.
What's the point? Why are you interested in prime numbers? And then we realized that, it's
cryptography.
Cryptography. But I think even then, there's a danger of implying that it's only useful because we ended up using it for cryptography. It was already useful just because it's a nice thing to do.
And I mean, this narrative about it has to be that things have to have a purpose, or I mean the if you think about the sort of situation in ancient Greece, in Athens, I guess must be around the time of Plato's Academy.
Yeah.
Where what happened is that farming had developed to a point where everybody could be fed. I mean, we have to be honest, a lot of this, I think, was a lot of the capacity came out of slave labour.
Yeah.
But we don't have to have slaves in order to generate spare capacity. Like we don't think of it in the right way culturally. If somebody doesn't have a job, we think that somehow that's a failure of them. Mm-hmm. But it should be regarded as a success of society that there's something that someone would traditionally have had to do that they don't need to anymore. But the problem is the way that we account for this spare capacity. People have written books about this, and I'm now forgetting the name of it, but there's certainly a book about bullshit jobs by, I think that's David Graeber, Graeber, that sort of describes the way that kind of some of this spare capacity is soaked up, which we don't. We just shouldn't be. We shouldn't be making people do bullshit jobs just so that they have a job. If we are in the lucky position that we could maybe take everyone down to a 4-day week, then that's what we should do. And if we don't, we end up almost having to do no work at all. Then that should be maybe something we should celebrate. But anyway, with all this spare capacity. As they had in around the time of Plato's Academy, they put it to the very good, laudable use of thinking and art and all sorts of creative stuff. So, like, if you just learnt Euclid's Elements, then you'd have done a pretty big chunk of an undergraduate degree in maths. That's how developed it was. So the proof that there are infinitely many prime numbers, which, you've probably seen. So imagine there are finitely many, multiply them all together, that's a number, add 1 to it, that's a number that's now not divisible by any of the primes because it's a multiple plus 1. So that now is bigger than all of the prime numbers and it's not divisible by them, so it must be prime, but it's bigger than the ones, so it's a contradiction. That proof is in Euclid's Elements.
Yeah, it's a great proof.
It's a great proof.
Yeah.
We're not valuing the things that you can do with all this spare capacity. We're not giving people the tools to make use of it, I think. A more recent example came up in a talk I saw, like around the time of the Beatles and the sort of explosion in the UK music scene, largely linked, the argument was, to very high unemployment. So, sort of the after effects of the Second World War and the time it took to kind of rebuild the economy and stuff, there was a big period where everyone was sitting on their arses, and that gave them the opportunity to sit and write some songs, and so we ended up with, from what is quite a small country, fundamentally, an absolutely world-leading music scene.
Oh yeah.
So why are we not following in that example?
Well, it might be that maybe post-war, obviously, I can't imagine what just general day-to-day life. I mean, it's the idea. I mean, people's recent memories that the free world nearly ended, and that people were dropping nukes on each other, and there was a genocide going on in Europe, and maybe that spirit inspired some kind of inspired a musical
release
spirit
like a relief afterwards.
Yeah.
The argument in this was more that the economy was kind of looking to be tanking.
Yeah.
And actually, it was like, the musicians playing on the Titanic as it was sinking. It was that kind of vibe. Like in foreign newspapers, they're reporting on like London seems to have gone mad. Like all these people are like just partying. Like the economy is just about to crash. And what is it that? I mean, we were being described as like depraved, and I don't know. I wasn't there, but anyway, I think we could tolerate a little depravity.
Yeah.
I won't make that. Yes. Anyway, so I can't remember how we got onto this. Anyway, yeah. Make art, make music, do maths, and you should have absolutely no qualms about doing it for the sake of it. I think the thing I would do, qualify it with, is I think you need to be able to tell a story in some form to other people. I think if you were just going away and being a hermit, and that there wouldn't be much in it for society. I think they might respectfully ask that you do something to account for your existence, but it doesn't have to be like, I would say, it doesn't have to be like an application. It doesn't have to end up as a product in TK Maxx or something. Your sphere of influence doesn't need to be huge, as long as you don't disappear off out of sight.
Yeah.
Then
unless you're Newton, in that case you can.
Well, of course, there were other people thinking kind of similar things at the same time, weren't there? So there was obviously something in the air.
Yeah.
I don't know I know nothing about how well Newton's ideas were received at the time. Of course, whatever the method of describing this stuff was, and I think he had this idea of fluxions.
I think so, yeah.
My guess is, from the sound of it, they'd be like tangent vectors or something. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe it was quite difficult for people to pick up. It was also written in Latin, wasn't it? But then, so the vast majority of people would not have had a chance. Even the ones that could read Latin, there's not going to be a large number that could have digested it, I suspect.
Yeah.
Also, I think he was supposed to be an awful man.
Yeah, John Locke was famed for being, well, for essentially commenting that he just wasn't the nicest of guys. I think John Locke actually theorized that he was actually going psychotic at some point in his life.
Right. Would he have meant the same thing that we do now by psychotic?
No, because I think there was a point.
Delusional, really.
There was a point in Newton's life where he was effectively lashing out at everyone, particularly at John Locke, for just existing. And he went somewhere, I think, got some help, and then he was all right again.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it could be antisocial behaviour disorder.
Yeah, he had quite a rough childhood, Newton. He was quite isolated.
Well, that would be consistent. Anyway, I can't diagnose. I can't diagnose. I mean, I have a go at it, but I don't think I can diagnose Newton on the basis of John Locke being upset.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd have to see what he wrote, I guess. Anyway, I sort of feel like we should stop some point. I mean, are you going to cut this because no one's going to want to listen to all this shit, are they?
I mean, it'll be mostly uncut, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to work out if you want to hear about Guess Who.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay. I'll do this really quickly. Just because there's actually a game you can play online, but I have to get to that. So we're at this party, and a friend of mine who is a lawyer, but before that was a philosopher, so he has a PhD in philosophy. He said, Dave, I know, you're not going to believe this, I know how to beat you at Guess Who. And I was like, how? Don't you just divide the thing into two and you just do this, and probably the person who went first is going to win most. And he was like, no, I can guarantee almost all the time I will beat you. And I said, go on then, how? So he said that he'd had this idea from a philosophy paper about logic problems. So you probably have come across this logic problem where you're walking down the road and you come up to a fork, and down one tine of the fork there is a village where everybody is lovely and will give you safe passage, and they always tell the truth. Down the other fork is a load of cannibals, and they always lie.
Right.
And you come to this fork, and there is one person in the road. You don't know which village they've come from. You have to ask them one question, and it has to tell you the right way to go. So you can't say, what's the way to the nice people's village, because that person will just, if they're from the nice village, well, they'll point to their village. But if they're a cannibal, they'll point to the cannibal's village. So you have to kind of use their lie against them. So one way of doing it is to say, which is the way to your village? So then the nice tribe sends you down the right track, but the cannibal points you not to their village because they're lying. They point you to the right village, so you get the same answer both times. There are other ways of doing this, and there are other techniques that make this even more complicated. So, and he used one of them to get from a yes/no question 3 possible responses, which sounds obviously impossible, but it starts with this. I'm going to ask you a question, you've just got to try and answer it one way or the other, okay? So the question is as follows. Is the answer to this question no?
Is the answer to this question no?
Give it a try.
No.
Okay, so the answer to this question is not no, so it's yes. But you just said no.
Yeah.
So you've lied to me.
Yeah.
Okay, try and answer it the other way. Is the answer to this question no?
Yes.
Okay, so it's no, but you've just said yes, so again you're lying. Now, in the game of Guess Who, you have to tell the truth.
Yes.
So you could never answer that question. That's going to be our third option. So one is yes, one is no, and one is that you can't answer and your head explodes. So you've just got to sew that into a question about like the characters. So you say, here's an example, right? Does the person have blonde hair, or do they have brown hair? And the answer to this question is no.
Okay.
So it's really difficult to digest. So we can go through it. So do they have blonde hair, or do they have brown hair? And the answer to this question is no. So if they have blonde hair, then you just say yes, because they have blonde hair or something else. Yes, they do have blonde hair, so it's true. If they don't have blonde hair and they don't have brown hair, then you say no. If they have brown hair, then you've discarded the blonde hair possibility. You're just answering the question now. Do they have brown hair? Yes. And is the answer to this question no? So your head explodes for that example. So you get a 3-way answer. Yes, no, head explodes. So you can use that to get down much quicker in your searching. Anyway, we built this, so Cushing actually found the strategy for this 3-way this tripartite question, Guess Who? And then we got a comic book designer to design the board, and then a software engineer to make the game board. And so it's merryhellcomic.com /conjecture. And then you can play the game online, and it's got instructions in there and everything.
Yeah.
But we wanted didn't want any legal problems associated with this, so it's called Conjecture, and we underlined that it's a legally distinct guessing game.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can have a play with that, but
No, I'll put a link in the description.
okay. So we've now published a paper about this, and it turned out no one had actually solved the original game, Guess Who? So we did that too.
Right.
So there was a paper in the Mathematical Gazette about this, and there is nothing in it more complicated than some basic probability and induction.
So it's accessible to pretty much anyone watching.
Yeah, I mean, if you were like a really clever 17-year-old that had just learned about induction, you could write this paper, but it's very fiddly is the only problem. But it's not. There are no complicated concepts in there. Just A-level things. Well, I don't know when we put it online. It was probably over a year ago. It was a nightmare getting it published because we just kept getting really annoying referee reports. I had to sort of beg the editor to believe me that what this person was saying was nonsense. But anyway, it took. We had an extreme. Cushing had written like a 50-page paper, and I was just like, we can't publish a 50-page paper on a children's game. So I was trying to find a simple proof, and I don't know how many sheets of A3 paper I managed to get through, littered all over the bars and restaurants of Manchester. But I did eventually get there, so not too bad now.
All right. Well, that was probably a good note to end on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really fun. Thank you.
Okay.
Great,
yeah. Well, thanks for doing this. I hope you get. I hope people take an interest because
I hope so. Yeah.